his fear was that my smoking weed would escalate to other things. Um, but my thing was, I don't like other things, and all praises due to Allah, the man above, that it never escalated to anything else. And for me, I mean, I can say I've never sniffed cocaine, I've never took a tab. I don't even like edibles. You know what I mean? I smoke my weed. I may have a drink, if we go somewhere socially.
Right.
But I'm not really a liquor fan either. So I'm just cool, and I smoke my little bud and just chill, man.
After that appearance on Black Sheep's album, did that start a bidding war for Chi Ali?
No. By the time we like was recording, Chris had already like decided he was signing me, and it wasn't like that type of thing. Like that was like who I was with Chris, so it wasn't who you signing. I'm with him. It just so happened he started Violator, but if he didn't, I would have been signing to whoever he had told me to sign to.
Being so young back then, were there any type of problems you had to endure being a young artist?
Um, I don't think so. I think it actually made life kind of cool. I mean, of course, in social places, you gotta, be a little more on point because you don't, you got the fuck Chi Ali dudes out there. So you always want to stay on point for that. But other than that, nah, I think hip hop it was a blessing to me. Like I don't recall, too many clubs I had to pay to get in, or pay for my, and just it's opened a lot of doors, and it's definitely been a blessing in my life, for real.
The Beatnuts produced a majority of your debut album.
Yeah,
How
big
did,
shouts to Les and Juju.
no doubt, whose decision was that? How did you land those producers? Did you have a say so in that, or did somebody select that?
Nah, you got to remember when we started recording. I think I was 13 or 14 when we
Right.
actually started. So I just remember we used to always be at Calliope Studios with Black Sheep and De La, doing different things they were doing. And then like one day Chris brought me up there, and we were like in the big room at Calliope, and I was with Lal, that was our engineer, and he introduced me to Lesson Juju, and he was like, "Yo, they're gonna be producing your album." And they started playing some shit for me, and Chris more or less just left. At that time he was managing a few people. He was busy. So he more or less left me with them, and that's really how Chi Ali's album came into play. I mean, certain days Drez would be there. Certain, he used to write for me back then. So, of course, if he wrote something, him alone would be there. But then on a lot of days, Drez would just, even if it wasn't nothing he was writing, he would just be there, just critiquing, helping me. Um, Hot Dog, I don't know if you remember Chub Rock, but I mean, I'm sure you remember
Yeah,
Chub
yeah,
Rock,
yeah.
but his dancer, I don't
Right.
know if you remember his dancer, Hot Dog. Big shouts to Hot Dog and Chris Lighty, baby Chris. They were real cool at the time. They lived in the same building. So Hot Dog was, just around and very intricate to my first album. And I want to, send my regards to him. I heard he was fucked up from the COVID.
Oh wow.
And he was in the hospital, I think. I don't know if he got kidney or something. He had some other ailments, so it was complicating things. But I don't know how he's doing now. But I just want to send my love and shouts to Hot Dog and his family, and hopefully he's good.
Being the 16-year-old recording that album, what was those sessions like?
For me, it was fun. I mean, at that time, I don't really recall. I wasn't smoking that much back then. For me, it was just cool, like to be able to be with two or three of my friends from the hood, and we getting on the train to go to the studio in Midtown. Like it was like we was young kids with something to do. Like we really had something to do. You know what I mean? So that was pretty dope. I remember like me and my man Alan, C, AJ, we would all just be on the train and doing different shit. We be, just hitting the village and just growing up, young kids just experiencing the subway systems in New York City, yo. We was just regular New York motherfuckers.
Right.
Said, what up, baby? Said was there. You know Said? Big Said?
Ah,
Big Said, like Big Said from the Bronx. My best friend Rollo, who was also my hype man, they lived in the same building. But said worked with MTV with Tuffy with not MTV with Tuffy and Ralph McDaniels at Video Music Box. I mean, said was in MC Light's first videos. I mean, he's one of those faces that's been kind of behind the scenes forever, forever. And just it's certain people. When I think of Sad and D the Weatherman, Lenny S. It's certain people that just seem like they've been around forever, and very important to hip hop and the whole scene, and a lot of things that me and you don't even know about, like that like productions and things that happen. These dudes be behind and making it happen. I know every year said is behind Red Alert's birthday party. And I'm down in the DMV area, and even when I can't make it, he makes sure I get an invite. You know what I'm saying? And it's just little shit like that because I'm supposed to, especially for somebody like Red Alert. And he doesn't forget the little people. Big shouts to motherfucking Said. Big shouts to Tuffy. You know what I mean? Tuffy doing his acting thing. Cookie Head Jarvis. You know, but salute.
After your debut album, how did life change for Chi Ali?
Um, I mean, girls probably the most part. I was, the little girls heartthrob kid. Other than the girls, probably just like I said, a lot of free shit, like a lot of bonuses. We didn't really pay for them. I mean, like we would go to Great Adventures, and the girls working there would recognize us, and just give us free shit, and we would just have fun. But definitely the girls. I remember the first night Ralph McDaniels premiered "Age Is Just a Number," the first time it ever aired. My friend CeeLo and I, we had went to a movie somewhere in Midtown on the east side, and we were on a train coming home after. It must have been about 11, 12 o'clock on a Saturday night. And, Video Music Box was the shit back then. So, like, all the young kids that was on the train must have watched this shit because they was like, oh, shit, yo, that's something from the video. Yo, you got that video, right? And it was like from that day that video came out, that Saturday, my life really changed. Like, went from Chi to Chi Ali.
Let's fast forward a little bit. In '93, Illegal mentioned your name in Head or Gut. What led up to that, or was there an incident that
Nothing led up to when they first dissed me on the record. Nothing led up to it. It was just, I guess, they were the young kids coming out, and at the time, I think it was me, Chris Cross, and probably the youngsters. And none of us had no beef. I didn't know them, so it wasn't. It was just, let's get at one of the younger rappers, another nigga that's on our scene. You know what I'm saying? But I don't believe I knew them at all. Like it wasn't no animosity, good or bad blood. It was I don't even know you, bro. But I think we ended up getting cool through my boy AG. Big shouts to the whole DITC, Showbiz and AG. But AG was cool with them, and that's like family with us with Black Sheep and AG set something up, and we met, and I met with one of them, I believe. I don't know if both of them was there. And we shook hands. It wasn't nothing. I mean, I think, like I said, it wasn't nothing. It wasn't like it was something that sparked it. It was just, hip hop shit.
so no repercussions Illegal had to deal with for mentioning your name?
I mean, I might have had songs, lines about them and shit I recorded. I don't recall back then. I don't think so. I mean, I think our lanes were so different. They was trying to be a little more tough, and my shit was the girls that I think Chris was like, they're not affecting us.
Cool.
You know?
So after '92, your album did its thing. What is Chi Ali concentrating on? The sophomore album, or
Yeah, we started working on a sophomore album. I think between Premier had produced a few joints, Clark Kent, um, the Beat Nuts, then a lot of dudes from Co-op, like dudes that I had grew up with, like some of my friends that at the time though they was like the older kids in the hood though. Like they was probably like 18, 19, but a few of them had some beats. And I told Chris like, yo, I want to show love to some of my dudes. And Chris was like, all right, bet, long as it's dope. And Lavolta and my boy Shy, they started producing, and Like, yo, we just started working on a second album. I'm trying to think. I really wanted to release the second album because like the second album I was starting to write more. Like I said, from me and Drez's powwows in Washington Square Park. Like I took it every week we would meet and we would smoke and he'd be like, yo, let me hear what you wrote and shit like that. And it was me. Like the first album probably was I probably wrote about 45% of the first album, with the other percentage being from Drez, De La, probably the Beat Nuts, um, maybe Hot Dog, I'm not sure. But I was like I said, I was a kid, so I had a few rhymes. So like I said, I probably wrote about 40% of the album, but the second album was definitely more. It was more, not just more me, but I was maturing. My voice had changed. I was becoming a young man from a old boy into a young man. So I had shit I wanted to say and shit that I was dealing with and going through in life. I wanted to talk about, and I felt like I would have a lot more control. It just so happened, like in the mix of all of that, I guess Chris had left Relativity, which I was signed to, and took Violator to Def Jam. And I think in that when that played out, Relativity had the option to keep me or not, and they opted to keep me, which was cool. Except Chris was really their rap guy. They were like an alternative rock label, and Chris was their rap guy, and then Chris was my friend, so I kind of, I mean, I'm not, I was young. I don't know if I was salty. I just was like, damn, Chris left. And then I was dealing with these people that didn't really know hip hop. And then it turned into a war with my pops and them, like a lawyer war, because I think when Chris left, Relativity was trying to take his share of things. And I think my dad felt like it should be split. Like y'all wasn't getting it, we wasn't getting it. So let's split it. Y'all take some, we get some. And that turned into lawyers playing games. And I don't know, my little career faded. I just started running around with most of my friends at the time was hustling and getting money. And I just fell into that. I just fell into to the lifestyle. And you know how that shit played out.
Yeah, we won't get into that. 2000, but when all that you did that time, how hard was it to get adjusted when you touched down in 2012?
I feel like it didn't take that long. Like I was blessed, like my parents and my brothers and Drez and different young ladies. Um, I was blessed to, just frequently get mail and visits, and that's kind of what keeps you in touch with the outside world. You know what's going on and whatnot. And even if I might not have knew how to use the phones, but I was hearing about them and what they could do, and couldn't wait to get one. Whereas you got some dudes that it's been 5, 6 years since they last visit, so they really out of touch with what's going on because they don't have no clue. All they could listen to is jail stories.
Right.
Um, so I feel like from that perspective, my adjustment was probably pretty quick. Um, but like now, when I look back to like how I used to dress and like my haircut, I'd be like, "What the fuck was you thinking about, dude?" Um, so I don't know, but I think I did pretty well. I think the phone was one of the biggest things that I had to get in, like just really learn. Like the phone is kind of like everything. I mean, if you don't got your phone and know your phone, that's how you make your money. That's where the calls is coming. Yo, you got a show, you got an interview, you got this, you got that. So you need to know how to use that phone and do what you got to do with the phones and all these emails. It's like I used to get frustrated because it's like everything you got to sign in and you know what I'm saying, password. And I'll be like, man, what the fuck was this password? So a lot of shit I used to just get really frustrated with. But
Right.
other than that, man, I've been blessed, man. I'm blessed to be free. I'm blessed to, I got a beautiful family, beautiful children, and I'm just able to grow up with them. And it's like it's a lot of dudes that I was with that had the exact same charge as me. Some people had lesser charges than me, and they got more time, maybe just because they went to trial and blue. Whereas, I took when they offered me the 14 years, I took it. But a lot of people don't take that and they go to trial. But a lot of people is innocent too. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yo, Imagine them telling you take 12 years, 14 years for some shit you really didn't do. And people feel like, yo, there's no way I'm going to lose because I didn't do it. So I can't lose. Like, and you know, people believe in God and pray and be like, yo, God know I didn't do it, so I'm not going to lose. And they go into that courtroom thinking that and get smashed. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of my friends are sitting in New York State pens with 25 to life. And it's crazy because a lot of them is starting to come home. You know what I'm saying? That's how much time has went by. Like I be bugging, like yo, when I speak to it feels like I've been out an eternity since 2012. And sometimes when I speak to some of my mans, like I be like, God damn, you still locked up, bro?
Right.
Like what the fuck, man? That shit is just crazy, man. Like so many black men, they done kidnapped and took the prime years from us. This shit is crazy.
We got about 15 minutes before we get out of here. Can you catch us up on what Chi Ali has been involved with since you've been home?
Yes, I can. Um, Firstly and foremost, my autobiography I wrote when I guess I was in Fishkill. I had about 6 months before I was scheduled to be released. And I don't know, I just sat down one day and started getting to it. So I didn't really know what to expect because you know I'm not a writer, nothing like that. But I just told my story, from as far back as I could remember, and you know just tried to keep it as honest as I could. And you know, after that was done, like when I came home, it was like how I was gonna do it. Like I procrastinated a few years. Oh, I don't got the money. I don't got the money to do this, to do that, and I wanted everything to be lined up properly. And then when I finally thought I had the money and to do everything, and had everything lined up properly, I did it. I put it out. And everything still fucked up. I didn't have everything I thought lined up probably wasn't lined up right, but it don't matter because I did it. Like I was looking for publishers for years and trying to get big checks, but I ended up doing it myself. And like I could say I'm an author, I could say I'm a publisher, I could say I made money with my book way more than if I would have signed with anybody, and I could say I really haven't started really pushing it hard yet. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's been out about a year because we kind of I think it's done about or maybe May will be a year. We in May, shit, April's over. Yeah, so it's been out about a year now. But I guess maybe when this pandemic is over, we're gonna really do a real run with it, and just make it fun. You know, the hardest part is really with the marketing because you got a lot of society that doesn't read. You know what I mean, and then so you got to get motherfuckers that first care about Chi Ali, and then a section of that crowd that reads. You know what I mean? So it's different elements, but the great part about the book is it's really a marathon. It's like it's something that I can sell and bring with me whenever I go anywhere forever
Right.
till I die. And when I die, it'll probably do better than when I was alive. You know what I mean? So I mean, that shit is really the marathon. I mean, it's something, and anything can happen at any time that'll pop sales off and, make sales go up. So, I mean, it's just a dope accomplishment. It was something I was really proud to say I did. Other than that, my prison reform, all them years in jail, I got to speak up for the bros that's not here yet. And, that's dope. I'm in the DMV area, like I said. Big shouts to my brother Corey Knight, Corey, and my brother Terrence. Both of them, like, kind of more or less took me under the wing since I've been out here. Um, and they like both got units at the jail. I mean, I more or less can come with. They want me to really kind of work with them there, like, you know what I mean. I just don't know if I want to be in jail that much.
Right.
But right now, right now we can't go because of COVID. But usually I go in, once a month, either on a Thursday or Friday, just kick it with the bros. Tell them different shit. A lot of the brothers that's coming home, just tell them shit that they need to do, expect, get ready for. A lot of brothers that ain't coming home no time soon and is going to do a bid, try to tell them what they need to expect and get ready for. Um, and it's just cool to be like I remember when I was locked up when you know, people would come in and it was like pretty cool. Like, yo, especially when you see motherfuckers that you could tell, like, yeah, I know that nigga's a motherfucker. I feel like he ain't no nigga in the suit, like just come and look at me. You know what I'm saying? So it's ill to be able to really go back in the